I've always had my concerns that lip service was what we were getting on Obamacare because, A, it involves two things. It's an entitlement, and those just don't get repealed. And the second thing is it's health care and it's insurance. And this is one of those instances where image trumps reality. And if the image is, if the perception is that a lot of people have insurance who didn't, and then the Republicans come along and repeal it and replace it, then they fear they're going to be open to allegations that they are taking people's health insurance away from them and that they are taking people's health care away from them. And they don't want to go there. They don't think they have a chance in explaining their side of the deal to the media and having it reported fairly and honestly to people. And they're right about that. But we have the election returns, and we know what people who showed up in large numbers to vote for the Republicans and for Trump, we know why. Reforming, repealing, replacing, getting rid of Obamacare is right up at the top. Immigration's right up at the top. Closing the border, securing the border, keeping bad elements out of the country, reclaiming this country from the leftist fringe that was trying to transform it. Rebuilding the American economy and creating American jobs. All of these things. And Obamacare and tax code reform is right at the top of all these lists. Now, I want to go to the audio sound bites because we have Senator Johnson, who was on CNN's New Day today talking about this. He talked to Chris Cuomo. And he said, look, Obamacare's always had problems. And I'm listening to you guys, and I don't hear you say repeal and replace. I'm hearing you say repeal and repair. Is that what it's come down to now?
When I talk about repair, I'm talking about repairing all the damage done by Obamacare. Obamacare has created this enormous mess, this big mess, and I'm trying to fix that big mess. I don't think Obamacare is fixable, quite honestly. And the other reality is, we only have so much power to repeal just certain elements of Obamacare through reconciliation with 51 votes. The taxes, the subsidies, but so many of the market reforms, I would call them the market distortions that have caused premiums to skyrocket and out-of-pocket maximums and deductibles to skyrocket. Those, we're probably going to need 60 votes, and it doesn't sound like the Democrats are really willing to bear the responsibility of the mess they created.
Okay, so I'll now defer to the USA Today piece on this. What he's basically saying is, when he says we don't have the power, translated means we don't have 60 votes. We can only do so much of this with 51 votes. With 51 votes, we said we will be able to deal with some of the tax cuts, and we'll be able to deal with some of the other. But when it comes to the insurance parts of this, when it comes to the premiums, when it comes to minimums and maximums, we're not going to have a chance to touch those because those need 60 votes. Okay, well, that then opens a question, why do they need 60 votes? Who in the world is saying they need 60 votes? And Johnson and some of the Republicans said, well, we can only do so much of this with budget reconciliation. That would be the tax side. We can't do all of it with budget reconciliation. Why can't we do it all with budget? They passed the whole thing with budget reconciliation. Why can't we do the repeal and replace? Because the Senate parliamentarian says so, don't you know? The Senate parliamentarian, for those of you in Rio Linda, is the guy in charge of the rules and how the Senate operates. He's the expert in it. And on occasion, there's deference to the guy. But here's the timeline. This is what we were told. Republicans, before certain elections, said we need the House if we're going to repeal Obamacare. So we gave them the House. But then nothing happened. They said, that's right, we need the Senate. We can't do anything because Obama's still in the Oval. We can't do anything. We need the Senate. We gave them the Senate in the 2014 midterms. And then they said, well, it's really great. We appreciate it. We need the White House. I mean, we need all three. We need White House, House, and Senate to be able to do this. So we elected Trump. And Trump was running also on repeal and replace Obamacare. So everything our dear Republicans said they needed, they got. And so now, after voters have delivered, it has now come down to an unelected Senate parliamentarian standing in their way. We are to believe that a majority of elected senators cannot overrule the parliamentarian. That's right. Mr. Limbaugh, our hands are tied. That's right. That's right. I've been here a long time, and I looked at it, Limbaugh. And yeah, I know you'd like us to tell a guy to just stuff it. We can't. So they're saying that they cannot repeal the regulations on insurance companies by reconciliation. Only the mandates and the taxes. However, my friends, the regulations on the insurance companies, which is what drives the costs up and makes the mandates and taxes necessary, is obviously inextricably linked to the mandates and taxes. You can't have the mandates and taxes going up and down without the action taken on the insurance companies, on the premiums and the maximums. But then again, who cares what the parliamentarian thinks? This is just common sense. Saying they can't repeal the regulations on insurance companies by reconciliation, even though the whole thing was passed that way. They can only do the mandates and taxes. The mandate to buy insurance and the tax. They can roll those back. They can get rid of those. But the regulations on the insurance companies, which is where the premiums skyrocketing occurs and the minimums and the deductibles and all that. No, well, we can't. We need 60 votes for that. Parliamentarian says so. So it looks like, to us, outside looking in, that they're just looking for reasons not to do it. And we know why. The minute this thing was implemented, we knew there was going to be overwhelming fear of actually repealing it, because it's taking away. That's Santa Claus going back down the chimney on December 27th and taking everything back to the North Pole in their minds. And they don't want to be that.